Thank you, Provost Dever. It is now my pleasure to present the Graduate Studies Teaching Award and the Hannah Croasdale Award. Each year, the School of Graduate and Advanced Studies awards the Graduate Studies Teaching Award to the graduate teaching assistant or assistants who best exemplify the qualities of a college educator. The individual should combine the personal qualities of dedication and commitment to teaching with innovation, creativity, preparedness, and efficiency in the classroom. This year's recipients have demonstrated all of these qualities. Daryl DeFord from the Department of Mathematics and Michael Stevenson from the Department of Chemistry. Please come forward. And Michael can't be with us today, but I'll still read some remarks about him. Hi, Daryl. Daryl DeFord is a fourth-year graduate student in the Department of Mathematics. He received his bachelor's degree in theoretical mathematics, summa cum laude, from the Washington State University. Students in the math department not only serve as teaching assistants, but teach their own classes as part of their PhD training. Daryl has taught 2 classes in calculus and has received exceptional evaluations. His students noted his patience and engaging demeanor and his high level of competence in the field. Daryl has also consistently gone above and beyond the teaching requirements of his program by identifying and addressing learning opportunities at Dartmouth and beyond. For example, to help mathematics graduate students pass their qualifying exams, Daryl and another graduate student wrote a 240-page book of sample questions and developed seminar sessions around solving the problems. He adapted the material taught in the first-year ethics course for applications specific for the mathematics program. He has coached local student teams who have placed first in statewide mathematics contests, and he has taught courses at the Johns Hopkins University Center for Talented Youth. In addition to his initiative and excellence in teaching, Daryl has also authored and co-authored 6 papers and 5 preprints for his work with his advisor, Dan Rockmore, and has twice received an honorable mention for the NSF Graduate Research Fellowship. We believe Daryl is a truly worthy recipient of the 2017 Graduate Teaching Award. Michael Stevenson successfully defended his thesis on September 8, 2016, and is currently a postdoctoral fellow in the Department of Chemistry and Biochemistry at Ohio State University. He received an undergraduate degree in biochemistry from the University of Washington, Seattle. During a gap year between undergraduate and graduate training, Michael took the opportunity to be a teaching assistant in general chemistry for 2 terms. It was this experience that planted the seeds for his creative and challenging approach to teaching and led him to be given a teaching assistant assignment in his first term at Dartmouth, a position usually not undertaken until the winter term. His dedication to science education is evident in both the glowing student reviews he regularly received and in his conscientious application of pedagogy as a mentor to students and faculty from Dartmouth and other schools. He undertook leadership roles during his time in the lab at Dartmouth, including mentoring 4 undergraduate students with their research projects. Additionally, his teaching was recognized by Professor Rachel Austin from Bates College, who invited him to teach one of her classes at Bates. Few, if any, who have spent time in my lab over the past 5 years have not benefited from the advice, training, and teaching that Michael has generously provided, wrote his supervisor, Professor Dean Wilcox, in his nomination letter. Michael's dedication to bring out the best in his students and inspiring them to excel makes him a worthy recipient of the 2017 Graduate Teaching Award. Congratulations. Our next award is the Hannity Croasdale Award, presented annually to the graduating PhD recipient who best exemplifies the qualities of a scholar. The award honors Professor Hannah Croasdale, who performed research and taught biology for more than 40 years and was the first woman at Dartmouth to achieve the rank of full professor. This year's winner is Justin Kim. Justin, please come forward. As one might imagine, the selection process for the Croasdale Award recipient is not an easy one. With a standard of research and caliber of students in each graduating class being so high, it is difficult to choose the person most deserving of this award. However, after reviewing nomination letters and CVs from a number of excellent students, this year's winner stood out as truly exceptional. Justin Kim completed his bachelor's degree in psychology, summa cum laude, at the University of Seoul, Korea, and went on to receive a master's in clinical psychology at the same institution. He joined the Department of Psychological and Brain Sciences at Dartmouth in 2006, working under his advisor, Paul Whalen. While 10 years might seem to be a long time to complete a PhD, in Justin's case, it wasn't lack of preparation, but rather a 3-year stint of mandatory service in the Korean military. Literally, he was detained at the airport during a visit home. He then took a leave of absence, during which time he served as a lecturer and then an assistant professor in the Department of Psychology in the Korean Military Academy. Back at Dartmouth, Justin's research has produced more than 30 papers published in prestigious journals in the neuroscience field. His work has been cited more than 2,000 times, resulting in an H-index of 16, which is really impressive. His work on prefrontal amygdala circuitry has already been replicated by numerous laboratories and offers the field tangible evidence that it can inform treatments for individuals suffering from anxiety disorders. As you might expect, Justin has won numerous awards, and his graduate work was funded by his own grant from the National Institutes of Health. His research is already highly regarded in the field, evidenced by the numerous invitations he has received to present at conferences and departmental colloquia, and he was awarded the Trainee Professional Development Award to present his research at the 2015 Society of Neuroscience Conference. Justin's contribution to the field is amplified by his commitment to teaching and service and the inspiration he generates among his peers. The undergraduate research assistants he has helped train was integral to their success, and all 5 are currently in the field and attribute their achievements to Justin's influence. His graduate peers speak highly not only of his stellar research, but also to his dedication to the learning process and his ability to bring out the best in others. 2015 Croasdale recipient and current assistant professor at UCLA, Carolyn Parkinson notes, Justin was a natural role model. He was highly productive in his own work while still being incredibly generous with his time and energy when helping others. Justin is now a postdoctoral researcher at Duke University in one of the leading neuroscience laboratories in the field. His Dartmouth advisor, Paul Whalen, says, I could not be prouder of Justin and consider myself lucky to have had a front row seat as he found his place in the field. Justin is successful because he does not think of his efforts as a means to an end. He has the natural love of discovery necessary for an academic career. I'm sure you'll all agree, Justin Kim is a very worthy recipient of the 2017 Hannity Croasdale Award. Congratulations. I'd now like to introduce Duane Compton, Professor of Biochemistry and Dean of the Geisel School of Medicine, who will be presenting the John W. Strohbehn Award.
Thank you and good afternoon. It's my pleasure to announce the Jon W. Strohbehn Medal for Excellence in Biomedical Research. This is an award that recognizes a graduating PhD candidate from one of the degree-granting programs in the medical school. The medal is given to a student who best exemplifies the qualities of a scientific leader based on personal qualities of intellectual curiosity, dedication, a commitment to the pursuit of new scientific knowledge and teaching, as well as a sense of social responsibility to the research community. This year, I'm pleased to present the Jon W. Strohbehn Medal for Excellence in Biomedical Research to Matthew Ung. Matthew? Matthew conducted his thesis research in the laboratory of Dr. Chao Cheng, and completed a Master's of Science degree in the Quantitative Biomedical Sciences program, as well as his PhD in the genetics, with a genetics degree in the MCB graduate program. In his thesis research, Matthew employed computational methods to explore the genetic changes that contribute to the initiation and progression of cancer. He's been first author on 7 peer-reviewed publications in journals such as Science Reports and PLOS Computational Biology, and he has co-authored numerous other publications that appeared in such journals as Molecular Cancer Research. His thesis work developed new computational methods to identify specific genetic alterations in cancers that would provide improvements to understanding which patients would respond to specific treatments. Please join me in congratulating Matthew on completing an outstanding PhD thesis and receiving this award.
I'd next like to introduce Professor Donald Pease, Professor of English and Comparative Literature, the Ted and Helen Geisel Third Century Professor in the Humanities, and Chair of the Master of Arts in Liberal Studies program, to present the Mal's Thesis Excellence Awards.
Thank you, Dean Kull, and good afternoon to everyone. I'm going to ask each one of the award recipients to come up after I announce your name. With generous gifts from Nicholas Byam Shaw and the Clyde and Diane Brownstone Foundation to endow it, the Master of Arts in Liberal Studies program inaugurated the Byam Shaw-Brownstone Thesis Excellence Award in 1999. The prize is intended to recognize outstanding interdisciplinary research to which each of the concentrations in the MALS program, cultural studies, globalization studies, general liberal studies, art and creative writing, is dedicated. The splendid theses turned in by a vast number of this year's graduates made the selection of the 2017 recipients of the award a difficult, yet not unhappy, task. The MALS Thesis Committee selected Samuel Williamson, I hope you'll come forward now, Sam, to receive the MALS 2017 Thesis Excellence Award in Globalization Studies for his research project titled Security, Democracy, and Development, Contrasting Policies and Outcomes in Colombia and Venezuela, 1998 to 2016. Between 1998 and 2016, Colombia progressed from the brink of state failure to become The Economist's 2016 Country of the Year. Over the same 2 decades, neighboring Venezuela transitioned from an unstable democracy with the largest economic windfall in Latin America to the brink of state failure. Informed by detailed research in historical background, governance structure, economic policy making, Sam's thesis isolates the key variables, especially the interplay between democratic institutions and shrewd economic policymaking that made the development trajectories of Colombia and Venezuela so contrasting. Then, after selecting the most significant points for analysis, Sam created charts and graphs that revealed in exceptionally clear fashion the opposed results in both countries. Sam's thesis advisor, Professor Peter DeCeso, who has worked in Colombia and Venezuela as a diplomat as well as a scholar, describes Sam's thesis as a high-quality piece of work refreshingly free of the political bias and academic jargon that mars much of the work on Colombia and Venezuela. Observing that Sam's thesis artfully combines historical research, political science analysis, and clear-headed evaluation of economic policymaking into an easily readable and coherent analysis, Professor DeCeso concludes that Sam's thesis would appeal to diplomats and government policymakers alike for its practical relevance and to academicians for its analytical insight. The Miles program intends this award as public recognition of a scholarly achievement that opens up for Sam Williamson a potential field in the future in the fields of diplomacy and statecraft as well. Are you going to give the award, Dean Kull? And please join me in congratulating. Pleased to announce that the 2017 Byam Shaw-Brownstone Thesis Excellence Award in Creative Writing goes to Steve Dragswolf. Please come forward, Steve, for his novel, Bear, Rabbit, Fox. Informed by independent studies research projects on historical trauma and subcultural formations, and set on the bleak landscape between the Tohajali reservations and Albuquerque, New Mexico, Steve's novel tracks the lives of 3 teenage boys in the final days of summer vacation. It focuses in particular on the resourceful strategies each young man invents to cope with the ghosts of historical trauma in a neo-colonial society confronting them both on and off the reservation. Bear, rabbit, and fox do not get caught in the self-destructive cycle of substance abuse that has entrapped so many American Indians, young and old. But like most Native Americans, they are exposed to the actions of family members and friends who are. Steve Dragswolf says it is friendship and their greater understanding of identity as modern American Indians that gives these young men the strength to overcome trauma, even when violence attacks those closest to them. Steve's thesis advisor, world-renowned novelist Alan Lelchuk, describes Bear, Rabbit, Fox as a skillfully written novel in which scenes of raucous comedy and devastating tragedy are handled with authorial control in a narrative voice that is a triumph of consistent tone. Lelchuk recommends that Steve be congratulated for dramatizing the difficult and at times exhilarating experience of youthful life on and off the res. It's a memorable novelistic performance that is deserving of publication. The Miles program intends this award as material expression of our public recognition of Steve Dragswolf's achievement and our lasting gratitude for the work he has done to better the Dartmouth Miles Fellowship. Thank you so much, Steve. The Miles Thesis Award in General Liberal Studies this year goes to Brian Estrada for his research project titled Dynamic Fidelity, John Paul II's Implementation of the Second Vatican Council. Will Brian please come forward? Because he was dissatisfied with received understandings of his research topic, Brian developed a research methodology that would enable him to accomplish 2 interrelated aims: to seek out and analyze the complexities and messiness of the church reform set in motion by John 23, and to do interpretive justice to the historical import of what John Paul II understood as the most positive legacies of the Second Vatican Council. Informed by research in the disciplines of history and the philosophy of religion, and refusing the framing of the papacy of John Paul II in binaristic terms as a contest between the church and the secular world, in Dynamic Fidelity, Brian mounts persuasive scholarly evidence to warrant the conclusion that John Paul II was an active participant in shaping the globalized world of the 21st century. Brian's thesis advisor, the eminent historian Professor Ronald Edsforth, describes Dynamic Fidelity as one of the very few theses, in quotes, I have ever read that displays both the highest qualities of scholarly excellence and of prose presentation. Esforth went on to say that working with Brian Estrada was one of the highlights of his close to 3 decades of teaching at Dartmouth. As a sign of the MALS program's enthusiastic affirmation of Professor Esforth's endorsement, I am pleased to hand over the Byam Shaw-Brownstone Thesis Award to Brian Estrada. Before granting the final award, I should mention that Catherine Emery Brown, the recipient of the 2017 Byam Shaw-Brownstone Thesis Excellence Award in Cultural Studies, could not attend this year's investiture ceremony. She's in California, making preparation to begin PhD studies at the University of California, Berkeley, which awarded Katie a full-ride fellowship to continue the research on Welland Stevens' poetry that she began in her prize-winning MALS thesis. Let's thank and award Catherine. Last but not least, the 2017 Byam Shaw-Brownstone Thesis Excellence Award for the best thesis submitted across the 4 MALS concentrations goes to Michael Rodriguez. Would Michael please come forward? In his thesis titled The Nexus, Energy and Energy Security in an Age of Globalization and Climate Change, Michael puts his skills as a graphic artist to the work of distilling and integrating concepts drawn from the fields of energy studies, security studies, environmental science, and environmental studies. The visual clarity and monochromatic impact of the hundreds of drawings and associated text in this thesis renders Michael's thesis a unique contribution to the interrelated fields of environmental studies and globalization. It instructs readers at a glance about complex issues related to energy and the environment, but it also delights and sometimes frightens, even as it seeks to inspire us. In reflecting on their dialogues about his project, Michael's thesis supervisor, the ecosystem scientist Andrew Friedland, writes that Michael worked diligently to improve the environmental science aspects of his work, both in the depiction of ideas through art and within the captions of his drawings, to be certain that his drawings and captions were factually correct and conveyed the appropriate meaning. He goes on to say, I believe he has assembled a truly excellent and unique thesis. Michael continued to improve his graphic art through meetings and tutorials with the graphic novel scholar, Professor Michael Chaney of the English department, who also reached for superlatives in his letter of nomination. Beyond being a thesis, Chaney writes, The Nexus is a supremely ambitious graphic work, successfully accomplishing so much at once. The project that Michael has created is a thesis in the truest sense. It is both the culmination to and the beginning of a brilliant career. Speaking on behalf of the MALS program, I'm delighted to present the 2017 Byam Shaw-Brownstone Award for Thesis Excellence to Michael Rodriguez. This award does not compare with the Purple Heart and Navy Achievement Award you received in Operation Phantom Fury in Fallujah, Iraq. But the Dartmouth Master of Arts in Liberal Studies program is no less proud of your academic accomplishment and eager to see you well launched as you commence your new career in the service of the graphic arts. Congratulations.